Hey guys, welcome into the Bear With Us podcast. I'm Jack. He is Frank. Apologies for running a day behind here. As you can probably tell, I'm not exactly 100% healthy, but like everybody else, 85% time of this year, you gotta suck it up a little bit. So we're a day behind, but we're all good. Because a little benefit to missing a day, Frank, is we found out that Justin Fields will in fact be sitting for Week 18 against the Vikings. Tevin Jenkins, Michael Schofield, both placed on IR. I mean, let's just start there because I think it can kind of carry into our conversation with the Lions game because obviously Frank and I did not do a reaction podcast to that game, as I'm sure none of you were surprised. But Frank, after that Lions game, you and I had both been like, all right, what else do we need to see from Justin Fields? And you and I both came to the same conclusion that really nothing. So, I mean, even going into that Lions game, that was something you and I were talking about, and a lot of people disagreed with that statement.
Well, and that was really where I wanted to start off too. We literally on TikTok got called bozos. If he's healthy, he should be playing. Well, what do you mean? And it's like, dude. This is sort of where my thoughts from that, and then in conversations with you, and then hearing other, Bears podcasts talk. Last year, we were very adamant about wanting Justin Fields to play no matter what, because at that point, it's about getting NFL experience. It's about getting reps. It doesn't matter unless the offensive line is like fourth stringers, like you're literally going to get killed. At that point in Justin's career, we wanted him to play to get that experience, to have more tape to study, to understand what defenses are trying to do to him, et cetera, et cetera. The reason why it's different this year is because he has proven that he's there already. He has that portion down. So like as me and you, as these podcasts have gone along, from like week 5 or 6 on, when we noticed something switched with Justin, he's starting the NFL speed. He gets it now. He's getting through his progressions. He's using his legs more. He knows when to run. He knows when to, when the pocket's collapsing, his pocket presence had gotten better. So as the weeks went on, we said, what more do we want to see from Justin this year? And it was always like, throw with a little more anticipation, continue to have that processor speed up. Know what NFL Open is. And all of that still needs to, progress on his end, but that's not coming with this group around him. And maybe we didn't articulate that as well, because the other portion of us not wanting him to play last week was injury risk. The O-line has been dropping like flies. Wide receivers aren't getting open. If the critique of Justin Fields right now is that he holds the ball too long, maybe just naturally that's who he is. Let's roll with it. That's fine, because that portion is true. If that is your tendency, you're going to hold the ball even more when receivers aren't open. And then you compound that with an offensive line that's giving you less than a second to step back and on some of these plays. So like we're bozos because we want to keep a potential and I say potential because people blow up. He's not the franchise guy yet. Okay, let's just roll with potential. The potential franchise quarterback. Like we're bozos for wanting him to be healthy going into next year when we hopefully have more talent around him. And it's like, because again, the things that we want to see from him cannot be achieved with this group. It came to a point with all these injuries and just really the lack of talent at receiver, that what are we really getting out of these reps for Justin Fields? He's shown us the basics, and we like this is the annoying part with people who sort of find us midway through a year because of TikTok or because of a YouTube short or something. They haven't seen where sort of, I don't want to say our stances are, because I think our stance has been the same, but like just our progression of us seeing Justin Fields and sort of analyzing it, saying what we liked, what he needs to get better at, and so forth. They just sort of isolate that clip because that's all they have. And they're like, well, he's not a finished product yet. Yeah, no shit. But the product isn't being finished with, backup of the backups at all positions on offense this season. And right. Like, it's not, and again, with the injury risk, he hurt his hip. Though some of those tackles, I mean, god damn, dude, he's getting twisted and contorted. We said this by like week 10 though. I've seen everything I needed to see from Justin, but we also understood the talent around him, and that we probably weren't going to get a 350 yard passing game this year. Because, I mean, even in an awful game as it was, look at all the fucking drops there were that game. There were 4 off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, you also have the 7 sacks, like you were mentioning, the offensive line. Tevin Jenkins hurt again. Obviously, Michael Schofield comes in, gets hurt, blows out his knee. He's probably done. Like, we were talking about it just before we started recording, that the fact that this team may have 5 new offensive linemen across the board. Like, there may not be a single starter, and which is crazy because only a few weeks ago when we were talking about some of the positives, we were talking about how they maybe have 3 potential starters across, moving into next year. And so far that has just not really panned out. But I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, it's not even that he's holding the ball too long because guys aren't open, because a lot of the counterpoints that I've seen, Frank, is, well, no one's open in the NFL. It's NFL open, and he needs to pull the trigger a little bit more. And maybe there's some legitimacy to those claims, but I mean, when he does make the throws, the guys drop it. Like, they can't catch the football for him. We saw Cole Kmet do the same thing. Like, they can't catch the football. It's very frustrating, especially with this group. And it's like Chase Claypool's only playing like 4 downs, and I don't get what's going on. There was a lot of frustrating things in the Lions game, Frank, but the main thing that really frustrated me was just like, they got blown out, and somehow that makes the season even worse to some people. I'm not quite sure I understood the overreactions that were happening. I saw a lot of people just basically out on Justin Fields after, well, that's the worst defense in the league. Yeah, well, this is probably the worst offense in the league if you're really looking at it. He should have been dominate. Did you watch the game? There was a 3-man rush, and he still got sacked. Like, there was pressure on a 3-man rush. That's insane. And then you have that awful halftime play right before halftime started, where it was just like, you could tell he was either tired or hurt or both, and he was just like, whatever, I'll just throw it to the sidelines, and it gets picked off.
Did you hear Cole Kmet's explanation for what the play call was?
I did not. I would love to hear the explanation.
So he said that this was the play drawn up, and the more I hear about things, dude, I am very close to being out on Luke Getsy. I swear to God, I am. It was supposed to be an out. I think he said 10 or 12 yards, and then it was supposed to be a hook and lateral back to Justin Fields. What the fuck are we like? When I heard that, part of me was like, okay, like, you're getting your best playmaker involved, because Justin's like by far the best playmaker on the team. But like, who? What? How? Like, if you throw a 12-yard route, how fast do they think Justin Fields is for him then to recover while or like make up that ground? Because it was a 7-step drop back, so you're talking about what, an extra 10 yards?
19 yards, yeah.
That's what I mean. I mean, so you make up that amount of ground before he gets tackled to be in a position to get the ball and run with it? I don't know, dude. It was very weird.
And you think of that play that I did not click out because the NFL reposted it on Sunday, and I did not look at the comments because of the play that was involved. And I remember texting you, people calling Justin Fields a running back. You're going to have a field day, where it was Cole Kmet takes the snap and then pitches it to Justin Fields, and he takes it and runs it for the first down. I thought that was, it was a great play call, and I mean, it worked. But like, the way that they're relying on him, it's almost to the point where it's like, all right, Luke Getsy, can you do anything else? Like, can you get? I just don't. Frank, it feels a lot like Matt Nagy a little bit, because if you remember, the first 15 to 20 plays always looked really, really good. And we saw that in the game against the Lions, that first touchdown drive. Like, it was, I mean, obviously they got a little bailed out with the defensive holding, but the actual touchdown call, the pass to Cole Kmet, I thought that was a really good play call. And then we just don't see a lot of the creativity throughout the rest of the game, especially in the second half. That second half offense was just brutal. I mean, they stopped running the ball completely with David Montgomery. And like, at this point, how do you re-sign David Montgomery at all? Like, what is the point? They don't use him. They're not going to use him. Like, draft a running back at this point in the second or third round.
to further that, I mean, Herbert looked better again in that game. They didn't run the ball very much or very effectively, but he just looks like the better runner.
He did, and that's why I'm not quite I'm not quite understanding Luke Getsy's decision making, and I want to stick on this point because you brought it up. I'm also getting to the point where it's like, what is going on? Why are they calling certain plays? I mean, he's not moving the pocket again. It's something we were calling for going into this game. No play action. A lot of the stuff we saw when the offense was working were these types of things. It's just straight dropbacks. Look for, Dante Pettis or Equanimeous St. Brown, who they just re-signed to a 1-year deal, which, whatever. It's a cheap contract. A guy who can block, knows the offense, that's fine. But not getting Velus Jones used in the passing game, again, just using him on a jet sweep that actually, that worked. It's fine. But again, not using Chase Claypool, him blowing up on the sideline, and Justin Fields, which his leadership, Frank, I'm very happy about where Justin Fields has grown as a leader. I think that's awesome. But I'm not quite sure I understand why he gets away from the run game so much when that was all they were doing in the beginning of the season. I don't understand.
And remember I told you when we were texting about this, and it probably didn't make sense via text. And I figured it'd be easier to talk about on the pod anyway. The only way Luke Getsy's play calling makes sense right now in terms of evaluating Justin Fields is that's probably his biggest area of growth, is just taking a 5-step drop, going through your reads, and making the throw. Right? I think that's an easy thing to agree on. Even if you don't think he's bad at that, that's probably a lower part of his game because he excels elsewhere, right? But again, we don't have the personnel right now to do that. So it's like, I get on one hand, it seems like the coaching staff is saying, hey, we just need to run a very traditional offense with a quarterback, to help him progress there and help him get those reps or like get more film on that. But again, the injury risk to that is way too high, especially when you look at him in the pocket. He doesn't have his evasiveness right now. He does not look fully healthy. Like he's trying to do that rollout thing, where he like does that little spin away from the edge rush, and he can't get away from things. He's not healthy. He looks, even that 60-something yard run 3 weeks ago, even he takes that to the house. Right. He did take that to the house like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Right.
And he gets up and he looks hobbled. Like he's clearly not 100%. But two bozos on a podcast suggested sitting him. So that, they surely couldn't do that. But that's what I mean. Like nothing about the game plan makes sense at this point. So it's like for me, I'm less concerned with how can Justin continue to progress this year, because I think it's capped out with the talent around him. It just is what it is. No one else could do anything in this offense.
Game in this offense with these players is not going to make him an all-pro for 2023.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen.
And so my point is, what I wanted to see then, and they're surely not, doing anything organization to like appease me or any other fan or podcast people or anything. But there comes a certain point where like, I want Luke Getsy to sort of, pull his weight now. Show me how creative you can get with this sort of personnel instead of just having Justin turn into a pure pocket guy or draw up runs for him. Cause that's the only thing but it's like, we've seen everything, and that's sort of mind-boggling to me as well as a regime. Have you all not seen everything that you needed from Justin? Because like you have to be real about the talent around him. You can only do so much. Like every time a quarterback makes a step, you always got the guys, whether it's because they're hating on them or it's just because they're being realistic about the situation or somewhere in the middle. Well, Josh Allen took a step. Yeah, but look who we got. He got Stephon Diggs. Well, Jalen Hurts took a step. Yeah, well, look who he got. He got Slim Reaper and A.J. Brown. Okay, fine. If you want to make that correlation, that's completely fair because you do need talent around you to continue to make strides. What talent is around Justin for him to make that next step this year? It doesn't make sense. There's no way that this regime looks at this roster and says, yep, 2 more games out of Justin will surely be, helpful here.
Well, and the best way that I think anyone who is, well, I'm just not sure if Justin Fields is the guy, and maybe they draft Bryce Young or CJ Stroud with the first or second pick, whatever ends up happening. Ask yourself this: how many quarterbacks would be successful behind this offensive line with these wide receivers? The answer might be one, maybe one. That being Pat Mahomes.
I think
he's never had this bad of an offensive line in his career. He never has.
And remember when he lost his both tackles in the Super Bowl, he didn't look pedestrian by any means. He's so special. You saw the talent, but stat-wise, it was bad. I mean, there were more drops because things were out of sync. This is what happens. So it's the overarching point that I think needs to be said. It doesn't matter how sold you are on Justin right now. There are so many other holes that drafting another quarterback is only going to put him in the same position that Justin was in last year and this year. So it's what exactly? We have to build a roster. The roster has to be built.
It does, and the problem is, Frank, is I'm a little worried that we might not have the right guy in place to do that. Again, it's not. I'm not saying I'm out on Ryan Poles, but I mean, you kind of look around. Is anyone on this team better or have been? It's a similar question we had when Matt Nagy was here. It's who is better in this offense? Who is improved? Who is developed? Who came
Justin
in?
Did.
I mean, I guess that's it's true. He definitely did. But Darnell Mooney took a big step back this offseason or this year, and it's after all we heard about the offseason and how good this duo was going to be and this and that. Chase Claypool's been here and he's been nothing. I mean, he's done literally nothing. They trade for N'Keal Harry for a 7th round pick, and again, it is what it is. It's a 7th round pick, but they don't use him at all. He's not a guy that you can count on in the future and be okay. He may not be a 1,000-yard receiver, but he could be a red zone guy, or he could be a 500-yard 7-touchdown guy, something like that. Nothing. Offensive line has taken big steps back. The only one being Tevin Jenkins. I guess you can give them credit for him, but he's always getting hurt. I don't like that they played him against the Lions.
I agree.
No way was he healthy. Obviously he wasn't, but.
Yeah, I think so. You know what, Jack? I agree with everything you said. I think except for the first part of being anywhere out on polls. The one next year is going to be huge. We all know that. But the reason why I'm not as hard on him this year is because I'm a white knight fucking liberal, Jackie, and I cannot. No, I'm kidding. No, it's because we're legitimately paying more. We have more cap space allotted for people who aren't on this team than are this year. He didn't have very many resources. That said, there are red flags with, player usage. There are red flags with his ability to identify a receiver because Velus is just a miss. Even if he winds up being really good on special teams and maybe a gadget player, that's not what this team needed out of a 3rd round pick. You do that as a luxury pick. You do that as the Patriots because you can. The Bears can't do that. But my biggest, I guess, everything that you said, my mind goes to that's why this season has been more of a disappointment to me. The absolute win, because even if we fired everyone tomorrow, you still have Justin Fields who took strides in all parts of his game. That's a huge win, which is going to keep their job. Not that they would ever be fired, but that's really was one of the main goals this year. But it's when you look around and you're the guys that were signed on 1-year deals, the guys who have expiring contracts, who are keepers? We don't have keepers. I don't know who you blame that on. So you just look at the regime as a whole. But even looking at early polls, or early pace, Akeem Hicks is one of the first signings, and he wound up being a glue guy to that defense.
Yeah.
You look at who was the other one that had really good years? Pernell McPhee, when he was healthy, put together a lot of really good footage. They had there was another defensive end, Aaron. What was the number 99? Aaron something. Aaron Lynch. Aaron.
Aaron Lynch was that linebacker they brought in. Yeah, from San Francisco. He had a nice game every now and then.
That's what I mean. Like there were, and it's like, look at everyone on these 1 year deals. Again, we knew that some of them were just plug and play, but are any of them going to be here next year? Like you need some of these guys to go from plug and play to earn a 2 or 3 year deal to streamline this. So it's like, it's not that I'm out on him, but it's just like no holes were filled really.
Well, and you look at guys, I think a perfect example, and again, I know they made the transition and they weren't drafted to be necessarily in this defense, but like Travis Gibson, I mean, we were excited about it because, I mean, he had made plays in the defense he was in before, and then he comes in here, he doesn't really do any. He's been noticeable the last couple of weeks, but I mean, Frank, the thing that bothers me the most about the development stuff that people are begging to see from Justin Fields as a passer is exactly what people were arguing against in the beginning of the season, before the season. It was the Bears and Ryan Poles did nothing to help Justin Fields, and that was something you and I had argued a lot. They didn't do a lot. They didn't add a lot of wide receivers. They didn't add a lot of offensive linemen, like quality people either. We thought, I especially thought, Byron Pringle might be something, but like that just hasn't panned out. And it's like, it goes back to like, why is nothing translated? Why was this? I mean, as a passing offense in this era, you can't be this mediocre. Like, you can't be this remedial. You can't be this mediocre. You have to be able to get garbage time stats, and they can't even do that. So I'm just not quite sure where the disconnect is with this team. I'm just not sure what happened with Luke Getsy's offense. And, for the one thing I'll say in a positive light, and we know this now, is that they are sitting Justin Fields, that's a huge positive to me and to you. Because it's just like, it's refreshing, especially with what we dealt with last year, where it's like, why is Jason Peters still playing instead of Tevin Jenkins? Why is Andy Dalton still playing instead of Justin Fields? Like, they're just being real, right? They're calling it a hip strain. But, like, come on. Justin would play if they told him to play. We know that.
I mean, he would play if he had the option. Like, if they left it up to him, he would probably be playing. He'd
be like, I want to play, which is great. But, they want to keep him safe from himself and keep the team healthy and have a good offseason. That should be the focus right now. And I like that because that's being real. So my hope is, if things aren't improved, next year, 2 years from now, this feels like a regime that isn't, maybe even Ryan Poles, if I'm being honest. They might not be tied at the hip with him and Matt Eberflus, depending on what he's able to do with the roster. If he does things that make sense, but the coaching just isn't adding up, I could see him being like, no, fuck that. We have to make a a change, because he's been doing that since he's been the Bears GM. Oh, Roquan Smith wants a deal? No, I don't give a fuck. We're going to do it my way. Trades him. Like, that's great. That's awesome. So I have a little bit of hope on that side of it. Player development, draft picks, signings, we'll have to see. We haven't really had an opportunity to see what he does on that end. We'll have to really evaluate this offseason. But if there's any sort of good things to look forward to, it's that Ryan Poles seems to get it. He seems to understand what makes sense. And that's all I ask for the Bears, especially after the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly why, like, it's less to me about Poles. And I think my disappointment, the more we've talked this out, it really is with the coaching staff as it stands. But even that, like, you have to have the caveat. Like, even with me saying I'm very frustrated with Luke Getsy, I feel like you just have to run it right back with the coaching staff, because there's just a lack of talent. And, I hate that I've seen on social media where, and it's been from everyone, like, whether it's about Getsy or Fields or anyone, and they just say like, oh, I didn't know that everyone had to be top 10 at their position for Fields to like be good. I didn't know everyone had to be elite on the team for Luke Getsy to be a good player. Like, that's not what people are saying. But like, this is what we should do, Jack, to be quite honest with you. Let's have like an XFL or USFL tracker. Because I guarantee half this fucking roster is going to be there next year. And I'm being serious, because it's one of those things where, It's like you can't look at this team, and even when you said earlier, like people are like, well, Justin just has to know what NFL Open is. They're not even getting NFL Open. Look at all the stats that show you and how far behind these receivers are at separation. They are like so fucking low on every single metric. So sure, are there some times where Justin should pull the trigger? Absolutely. But it's like these receivers aren't even good enough to more like when you talk about these elite receivers and like look at Aaron Rodgers, his ability to trust Devontae Adams or to trust Jordy Nelson. It's always about trusting. It's never about, oh, what a great throw. No, it's about trusting that your guy can make the catch.
Yeah.
Who the fuck can Justin Fields trust on this team when they're blanketed, when they're not open at all to make a play?
But again, it's also the fact that almost every single receiver right now is basically the same guy. They all do one thing, and that's catch the ball and then get tackled right after they catch it. There's no playmakers. And that's my biggest thing, Frank. Like, you look at all of these playoff teams that are teams that are vying for the playoffs, and you look at their wide receivers, and you just look at guys making plays, and, man, I know we keep bringing it up, but, like, the George Pickens thing, I think that's going to haunt our night. It's just going to haunt our dreams forever, because you see that play that he made against the Ravens where he, like, fully died. When was the last time you saw a Bears wide receiver dive for the ball or like, try to make something happen? They just don't do it. They just don't do it. They're just – and even the running backs, Frank, like, yeah, Khalil Herbert looks good, but, like, does he look like a guy that's going to be a superstar in the league? Like, does he look like Dalvin Cook? Does he look like Christian McCaffrey? No, he doesn't do anything super special. That's right. That's the problem. And it's something we've talked about literally all year long. They only have one superstar in this team, and it's their quarterback, which is great. That's a position us as Bears fans have never been in. But to criticize Justin Fields for that game, well, he only had 7 completions, and, he only passed for 70 yards, and, he needs to keep playing to develop. It's like, man, fucking watch the game. I could not believe the overreaction to this Lions loss. I couldn't believe it. People were talking about the Lions like they were 2-14. Like they were on the bottom of the barrel like the Bears are. They're a playoff team. I get their defense hasn't been good all year, but those pass rushers, Frank, look pretty fucking good. And to blame Justin Fields for not being able to pass against this defense, you're just not watching the game. You're not watching the game. He took 7 sacks, and he's clearly hurt. Like you said, there were a couple times where he could have scrambled, but didn't because he clearly could not move the way he wanted to. And you say he's holding the ball. The one play I'll give people is the strip sack where Aiden Hutchinson came from behind. He's got it, but I'm not going to get too upset about that because he's done it all year. He's been really good at that. He's been really good at limiting turnovers. This game just it really showed you the talent disparity between even a team that's trying to sneak into the fucking playoffs. You know what I mean?
But Jack, do you remember the one start when what the fuck is the backup quarterback who had went on the IR right after?
Trevor Siemian.
Trevor Siemian plays. And we got right here on this podcast and said, look at the difference between what happens when Justin Fields is on the field making fucking chicken salad out of chicken shit versus what the backup's doing. Now take that and look at what a difference, like when Justin isn't fucking Superman, this is what the offense looks like because he's hobbled because of whatever, or if he's playing a better defense, whatever it is. When he's not Superman, this offense is the worst in the league. When he is Superman, we're averaging 30. That's not the way I want my offense to be constructed. I want, your quarterback should be able to make mistakes. And he has to be perfect. Look at all the one-score games that we lost.
Yeah, or else the defense will give up 35 points in 10 minutes or whatever it was. People are getting upset that he's not taking chances, not taking shots. And I get it. They're 3-13 at this point. It is what it is. But he's also trying to limit how far they get behind. He's trying to win a football game. The offense is trying to win. Let's not get it twisted. He knows that if he turns the ball over, the other team is going to score 6 points. Or 7, I should say. But Like, it's going to happen because the defense can't stop anyone. And you know, I saw a lot of people upset with the effort level, and I will agree with that. That was a little bit concerning in the second half. I get it to a certain extent. It's the end of the season, but Frank, like you said, a lot of people are fighting for jobs. So to see a lot of those guys just sort of let Jamal Williams bounce for a fucking 15-yard run, like that was pretty crazy to me. And that's sort of when I have issues with the coaching staff. It's like, what's going on? Like are we tanking on purpose? Because if yes, then fine. I'm like, whatever. But like Matt Eberflus, the whole hits principle thing is about never giving up and trying your best and doing, you know. But like you also got to remember, there's like backups playing on this Bears team right now. And then we still haven't seen Al-Qadim Muhammad do anything. What's up?
Is he? Yeah, I don't believe he exists. I'm going to be completely. I think he was he was a tax write-off for the Chicago Bears. He's not a real player. There's no way. There's no. It's asinine. But you know what though?
Jared Goff, man. Come on. What are we doing here?
Yeah, but to be fair though, in talking about the defense, a lot of people were again critical of the secondary. The same way that, and I think we've even said this probably verbatim at some point, the same way that we're talking about Justin has no help. Dude, there's no secondary in the league. I don't give a fuck who you have, unless it's like the best ever, like Darrelle Revis or prime Richard Sherman. I'm talking like GOATs, Deion Sanders. They're not covering people for that long. This pass rush is so bad. And, I actually had a friend reach out to me and he was like, dude, I see what you mean now when you say like, if Justin isn't Superman, this team is like even worse. And he's like, but I feel like seeing this game on both sides of the ball, knowing that he's going to be the quarterback next year and the year after and things, like, where do you even start? And it's like you start in the trenches. Once both lines are shored up, then you really get to see what you have everywhere, except for we need to upgrade receiver too. We know they're bad. That's not, but then we get to really judge, is Justin's processor speeding up? Is he getting, making NFL open throws? And is he anticipating? You can't do any of that up front. The same way that like Kyler Gordon and these guys can't cover for 6-7 seconds. It can't happen.
Right. And again, this is kind of why we were so upset when they decided to go defense. But, that's a conversation for, the offseason.
Jackie, did you have any, I don't really have any more, like, I know we weren't specifically talking about the game, but a lot of it sort of spawned from it. Did you have anything else about the Lions game?
Nope. That was pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think there was I think the last thing, Preston Ebner needs to be cut. They put him back there. Was that a punt return or kick?
He's not good. We got a little ahead of ourselves.
No, it's what though, we did get ahead of ourselves for sure. But again, where did the speed, even from like OTAs? I feel like
he looked
fat. What he does, but the same way that we keep saying that like Cole Kmet looks slow, David Montgomery looks slow, is part of this regime's philosophy to get guys to bulk up.
Maybe. I mean, they haven't had as many. I guess that's not true. They have had some pretty key injuries, but nothing like, no like hamstrings or groins or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, it's been bad injuries.
That was one of the first reports that came out that he upgraded the strength. Oh no, was that Pace or during his tenure or Poles right when he came in? He upgraded the nutrition and.
I hope they look a little more into that because they need some speed on this offense and they need to get rid of Ryan Griffin because the guy is. He does nothing.
Juwan Johnson, step on down.
I'd be okay with that. Not that they use him in the red zone.
But you remember though, Jack? But that's the thing. Like, and that's why I told you. You know how much I don't care for running backs, but we have no explosion anywhere outside of Justin. Like again, look at what Breece Hall and Ken Walker are doing. But Breece Hall before the injury, if you had that opens up things too. We have no one else that can be explosive. Because even if Darnell Mooney was who we thought he was, he does nothing after the catch. He never has been able. It's not his game.
Hollywood Brown is an upgraded, like Darnell Mooney is a poor man's Hollywood Brown. That's the best way to describe him. Yeah,
you're probably right. I mean, you look around the league, there's a lot of guys who are like wide receiver threes, and some that we're going to talk about when we have those episodes. We're like, we'd be interested in that would be our wide receiver one.
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about pretty soon here because the playoffs are coming up, and obviously, Bears won't be as prevalent, but we'll there's a lot of teams that are potentially going to be going into rebuild mode. There's going to be the teams that need to make cuts, like a lot of teams are going to have salary issues. So we'll kind of look into that. And obviously I kind of spoiled it a little bit with Hollywood Brown. Hell, maybe you get DeAndre Hopkins too. Maybe you just take both.
Well, and then and I mean, that has to be the philosophy. You can't give up a first or a second. So you have to be looking at probably aging guys with bigger contracts that will go and maybe a third or a fourth if we take on the whole thing. You think of guys like Tyler Boyd, you think of guys like DeAndre Hopkins. So we'll have those conversations, but I think people are unless there's some crazy trade swap first and you get like a Michael Pittman, or we're not going to get a bona fide young wide receiver one because they just cost too much and we have too many holes.
Yeah. I'd be okay with Michael Pittman. Do you know how I feel about my guy Michael Pittman stuck in that horrible Colts offense? But anyways, Frank, let's get to our Week 18 picks, our final regular season picks for the year. And then we'll kind of keep going, and we'll talk a little bit about Bears Vikings. Not a ton because we don't need to. Kansas City at Las Vegas. There's 2 Saturday games, which is kind of exciting. I'm actually starting to find some enjoyment on Saturday. So I like these. Kansas City, obviously.
Kansas City, and if they win, they're the one. I forgot the playoff scenario already,
dude.
Oh wait, but we don't know though because. Do we need to talk? I feel like we should talk.
I was going to get to that when we talked about one of the 2 teams, but yeah, we could talk about it now. One thing before we get to that, I will say the playoff scenario stuff. I can't do it, Frank.
It's tough to keep up with, isn't it?
It's just like a lot of stuff, especially when it's not my team. I'm just like, I don't really care about who needs to do what. Like, just once it happens, let me know who's where, and I'll go from there. But yes. As Frank is referring to, the playoff situation may become a little more muddy for a lot of teams because obviously the whole world, like it wasn't even a sports thing. Like I had people texting me who I know for a fact do not watch Monday Night Football. Like, did you see what happened? The Bills safety, Damar Hamlin, took a hit from T. Higgins and, it looked like a pretty normal play. And all of a sudden he stands up and just falls completely on his back, and everyone's like, Jesus Christ, what just happened there? And then you find out that they'd administered 10 minutes of CPR on the field before they got him into the hospital. They resuscitated him 2 times, which means that he died twice, and they brought him back. Still in critical condition with his family at the hospital. Frank, I know it was an absolutely horrible situation that occurred, but the whole thing with his charity where it was like the goal was like $2,500 and it was like that the last time I checked like $3.8 million. That was very, very cool. It's a horrible, I've never seen that in my life. A player basically die on the field. Wild.
Yeah. And when it happened, when it initially happened, it also, it made me just realize like how much we take for granted, even with the head injuries that are awful, because I was like, I saw him fall on the replay. I didn't see that portion live. And I was like, oh shit, it was probably helmet to helmet. He probably,
concussion,
lost. Yeah. You think concussion right away, but they went to a commercial break, came back, went to another commercial break. And then one of them, there was a small angle where you like see them and I'm like, holy shit. And I went to one of our group chats and I was like, dude, is this guy dead? I didn't know his name, so I didn't mean guy to be disrespectful, but I was like, is he like dead? Like, well, this is not good at all. They've been down there, and then they started like showing some of the players' faces, and I had people that were like, oh, they just cry sometimes even when concussed. Like, never like this. This is like a horrified look. Yeah. This is something different, very different. And again, like my first thought was like, I just take so much for granted, man, when it comes to these injuries that guys are playing with, and that's the one thing that. And I don't think either of us have been guilty of this at all, because I made it a point to not do this as a late teenager when I saw the damage. I'm a big boxing fan. That I saw the damage that boxing did. I remember it vividly. On Fox, Tommy Hearns went up and he was speaking. And Jack, when I tell you, he sounded like he was drunk and like he was slurring his words, and he like thoughts couldn't come to him right away. They had to like, like awkwardly avert and like have someone else. And I was like, dude, this is horrible. But I say all that to say, you hear people a lot like, oh, he's soft because he didn't play. They're soft. And it's like, I have never since that day, ever, I applaud you if you're able to go through and like play with an injury. That's fucking crazy. But if you can't, that there's like no repercussion in my brain that you can't. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But you see so many people, he's soft because he's not playing. He's, or even like people who don't take mental health serious. He's soft. He's talking about depression and he can't play and things. And it's like, what are we doing here, dude? And it's like to see that what looked like a standard tackle, what that could potentially do to somebody. And I know they don't know yet, but the leading theory is that's usually seen in baseball. Like if a baseball hits a chest at the right time, that the heart's beating, it's like a perfect storm to put someone into cardiac arrest in these moments. They think it's that, they just don't know yet. Like that can happen on any single play. It's a numbers game at that point. The more that these tackles happen, it's gonna eventually happen because it just you're playing with numbers. You know what I mean? It may never happen again, but there's always that at least small chance. And we just take all of that for granted as we watch these guys to simply entertain us every single week.
Yeah, and I was happy that obviously there were some of your typical people you expect to be like, just get up and resume the game, but the overwhelming majority was fuck this game, who cares? Let's make sure these teams are. I mean, how do you play after watching your teammate, your friend, people, a guy you think of as your brother maybe? How do you play football after that? It's just not that important.
No, 100%. And to, like you said, the other thing too is, the players themselves are going to feel that way, whether they're on that team, they're in that defensive back room or whatever, or just on the other team, because that's that fraternity that they have. But it was really cool to see just the humanity of things. Like you said, like 98%, maybe plus on Twitter, which is a fucking cesspool ever. They were like, no, this is not, you can't play. Like, it just became like a human moment. You know what I mean? And like, that was really cool to see too. And on the internet, especially because a place that's so divisive all the time, to see people like, this is like, there's something way more important than a game. Like there's no way that they should be forced to go out there and continue to play.
And yet the NFL was still like, well, maybe. You sure? You guys
yeah.
Sure?
Well, you know what though, Jet? Like part of me was like, I feel like that's just like the rule of like, if someone gets knocked out or something, like so I feel like it's a blanket thing, but for that even to be communicated to the commentators and everything, it should have never even gotten there, because that means someone told the teams that. It's like, I get you're going by the book, but dude, common sense has to prevail at some point in a situation like this. This is not a normal, and I hate to even say that because being knocked out and being concussed, that's not normal either. It shouldn't be normal. But we've seen teams continue to play with that because I think to a large degree, they just sort of accept, I may be concussed today. I may get knocked out in a I mean, similar to a boxer. I may leave the ring unconscious today.
Right.
And that's sort of what but like I don't think anyone goes in thinking, hey, I could legitimately lose my life today or be paralyzed or never,
Yeah, and I'm good on the league, good on the NFLPA, good on the two teams. Basically saying, I understand the playoff scenarios. Like, yes, it's important, but not as important as someone's life. Yeah. So that was, you're right. That was a good moment of humanity. I think it was handled well by all involved. Hopefully he's okay. I would, if I were him, I'm very curious to see what he decides to do about his future. Hopefully he's able to make that choice. But yeah, just obviously hope he's okay. And it will. Well,
latest updates is that he is doing, like yesterday, the latest update was that his vitals were back to normal, which was a pretty good sign. Today he's making more progress. I don't know what that means. They didn't specify, but they said he is making progress.
That's good.
So, and again, like at this point, I was talking to people and I was like, just on a human level, like football is the back of the mind. I just hope he can fully function after this and he can walk again, or I don't know what the ramifications are of this. I just hope he continues to live a normal life once he's fully recovered from this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's all anyone can really hope for at this
And
point.
and you know what though, Jack? That's one of those things. Not to get way too far ahead, but if he ever, I mean, even like practice squad or as like a fucking assistant coach, he's comeback player of the year. I don't give a fuck. Like he can literally like step on the field just for them to call a timeout to honor him, and he is the comeback player of the year. If something like that ever happens, like
I'd be okay with that if that happened this year.
Yeah, I mean, at any point, like again, I don't know what the timeline is of anything like this. They certainly haven't put one out, but again, hoping for the best for him. And again, I just hope that, and us included, I don't think we ever get nasty or anything, but like, I just hope everyone leaves this situation with more empathy towards these players, even to a point where like when people want to call them selfish for wanting to leave or wanting a bigger contract, but like, this is why, like, not like this literal situation, but like they are putting their health on the line for this, man. Like this is a contact sport.
It's why I was never mad at Andrew Luck, like a lot of other Colts fans were. Who like thought it was very selfish of him, and again, maybe the way he did it, fine, whatever. But like, you're right. These situations are why people like him do what they do. It's why Patrick Willis retired so young when people were like shocked by it. He wanted to keep his health moving forward. And again, I know this was like seemingly a very rare chance to happen, but you put that helmet on, you never know what's going to happen. You never know if Antonio Brown's going to come out of nowhere and kick you in the face. Or Vontaze Burfict is going to launch his entire 280-pound body into your fucking chest. Like, who knows?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, for the most awkward transition of all time, Frank, a very fun and very important game as well is Tennessee at Jacksonville Saturday night. Got a really good one here, Frank. And by good one, I mean terrible one, because Jacksonville's going to kick Tennessee's ass and go to the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. Jacksonville, man, they're fun to watch right now. I mean, Doug P got them going. T. Law has been making phenomenal strides. Tennessee is on the down. That's another. I don't know if we talked about them last week. We were talking about teams that we're looking forward to. Oh, I think we did, because you said you think Vrabel is a long-term guy like Tomlin, and regardless of whether or not they get rid of him, they have to rebuild, right, or retool. Like they hit their ceiling with Tannehill and everyone else. Like
and that draft class might be as bad as we thought it was going to be, that quarterback draft class, because I mean, Malik Willis can't even beat out Josh Dobbs for a start at the end of the season.
I know.
Like I get it. I understand that you have to win to make the playoffs. I get it.
He's not there.
But I mean, Josh Dobbs. I mean, he looked okay.
Dobbs looked okay.
He looked okay.
The times we've seen Malik Willis, he didn't even look that good of a runner. Like,
yeah, I was surprised by that.
I was surprised by that as well, because he's like at Liberty, he looked very I guess it's just the people around you. It's a comparison to the people. But now he's in there with like real, like former D1 guys, and it just doesn't look the same, man.
Yeah. I'd be very shocked if Jacksonville doesn't win this game. This is a game I think they absolutely.
Agreed.
Baltimore at Cincinnati. I went Cincinnati. I don't know what the mindset for them is going to be like. I mean,
yeah,
people are blaming T. Higgins.
That's
get the fuck out of here with that, Bart Scott. That's absolutely clown shit right there.
Crazy. I mean, because and he was one of the ones, or he was a part of the conversation, is what I'm going to say. When I was talking to other people, I'm like, I hope he isn't like blaming himself or he did nothing wrong. It was a standard play. Like, but I can only imagine, because I only know the way my brain works. I would be fucking beating myself up, but I would hope he's not doing that.
Right.
Because the last thing that we saw of him, someone had to put a picture online. He was like hugging his mom leaving the state, and he has to. Oh man.
To be involved in a play.
To be involved in something like that, because the thing was, and going back to boxing, like I can't remember this guy's name, but there was this heavyweight boxer who beat another heavyweight, obviously, and he beat him over 10 rounds. I mean, beat him like a drum. And the dude that lost, like, went into a coma afterwards. He had brain bleed, never fought again, obviously. I don't remember if the guy died or not. But awful shit. And the boxer who won was literally never the same again. He was pulling his punches. He couldn't do his thing. That can mentally wreck you. Yep. But to a point where, boxing is obviously a little different because you're like literally taking punches to the face. But think about next time. What if T doesn't do that and he leaves himself exposed elsewhere and now he gets hurt? Like these are repercussions that we have no idea the mindset of, that can happen with him. So I certainly hope he has a really good support system, not only on his team but with his family and friends and things. Because, man, I don't know how I would feel on the opposite end of that. Because again, he did nothing wrong, but that has to be traumatic.
Just involved.
You get up and you see someone going into cardiac arrest, that has to be traumatic. Like it just, and everyone's wired different. So you never know how you're going to internalize that. And I hope that he's doing okay as well. Cause there's no way that he just got up and it was like,
just shook it off.
Just shook it off. There isn't a way. I certainly hope I say that, but then there's Kayvon Thibodeau that exists. So
I was going to get to him when we talked about the Giants, but are you going, I'm guessing you're going Cincinnati.
I'm going, I'm going Cincy. I mean, the Ravens are just they have to be the worst 10-6 team I think I've ever seen. And I saw Bears teams that were 10-6 that were pretty bad.
I don't know how they won this many games. They're not that good.
They're just very well coached. I mean, they just have like that same philosophy that just gets it done. Doesn't look pretty, but
speaking of the team that gets it done, Cleveland at Pittsburgh. Come on. You think I'm going against fucking Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers right now?
Nope.
Ain't no fucking way. Especially with this Cleveland team. Come on.
Listen, that man doesn't go under 500. Mike Tomlin.
People are talking about him like he might get fired. I'm like, what are you watching?
Yeah, I also think people don't understand the way the Steelers work. They don't fucking fire coaches. Like when he eventually leaves, he's going to be like a front office executive for a little while, and they'll slowly transition him out. He's there for life.
Hey, come on! Don't disrespect me when it comes to quarterbacks. And I told you, Kenny Pickett, obvious number one. He's gonna be good. People are a little down on him, but he may never be. He's not going to be Joe Burrow.
Right.
He's not going to be Joe Burrow, but I think he's going to be like. And I said this before. I said this in the offseason. He's going to be the Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr range. And that's not bad.
Sort of average above average.
That's not bad. And he's got good weapons around him. Najee Harris, oh my God, isn't a bust. Look at that.
Yeah, he's looked good over the last, 6 weeks?
Man.
My thing, I sort of struggle, though, still, especially in a quarterback class like that, of like, do I prefer the ceiling or do I prefer more of a sure thing? I conceded to you that Kenny was way more of the sure thing. I don't think his ceiling, I mean, you just said it just by saying that he may be sort of that league average type of thing, which is good, but in the prospect range, I start to fall in love a little bit with ceiling.
I don't know, but to me, there was no other option for the Steelers that gets them to this point.
Oh, I agree.
Like
because I think his floor was very high.
Right. If they signed someone else, like if they signed Marcus Mariota, that was never going to happen. But if they did, they're not fighting for 9-8.
Andy Dalton may have been a good fit there.
New Orleans, man, what a team. Minnesota at Chicago. I'm picking Minnesota. Obviously, there's not even two questions. They need to win to get the second seed. A lot of people are saying maybe they'll sit people because they want to get the third seed, which would be playing the Giants, I believe, instead of whoever. I don't know. It's too much for me, so I just whatever. I'm picking Minnesota. That's all I'm saying. They have to do something to make up for last week because dude, I've never seen a joke more effective than Noon Kirk.
You're right.
Time Kirk, because dude. What the fuck, man? We picked Minnesota to win. Well, no, I don't think I did. I picked Green Bay. No, I picked Minnesota.
I'm pretty sure I picked Minnesota. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going Bears as well because Nathan Peterson was born to
You're picking Vikings. You mean?
I'm picking the Vikings. Nathan Peterman was born to lose football games. He's going to throw 4 picks easy
behind this offensive line with those wide receivers.
Yes.
What are we doing here? Getting that second pick. We're getting that first pick.
I was going to say, not according to my picks, baby. We got the number 1.
We'll get there. We'll get there, too. New England at Buffalo. I'm going to go with Buffalo. This is going to be a tough game for them.
Yeah, it is.
That whole the ovation they get when they take the field is going to be nuts.
I don't know if we're ever going to see a more motivated Buffalo Bills team. I'm anticipating like a hype video as they're getting on the field for Hamlin. These guys have to be, ready to take someone's. And again, it's not at they're not mad at T or mad at the Bengal, but like to have that sort of energy manifest for a week. Yeah, I'm going Buffalo. Matter of fact, I'm going Buffalo beating the fucking brakes off of the Patriots. Sorry, Bill.
If there's going to be a team that they do it to, I'm sure it would be satisfying to do it against that team.
Not for nothing. Even if the situation didn't happen, Josh Allen owns the Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots. Fucking Patriots. The Jets at Miami. This is going to be just probably just a really bad game. I'm going to go with Miami though. Regardless of who play, the Jets are they're in shambles right now.
Yep.
Even with Mike White, they look terrible.
Well, I mean, that was the whole thing with Mike White is like we knew his floor was low as well. It's just he had way higher highs and maybe like more consistency than Zach Wilson, but he's not the answer either. They're just trying to salvage a season that they have a really good defense. So you got to do something. I'm going Miami as well.
Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Jesus Christ, Brady hit the juice in that game against Carolina. Haven't seen him make throws like that in 5 fucking years. But I'm going Tampa Bay.
I am going Tampa as well. But are they playing their stuff? They secured the division, right? With that win over Carolina. I haven't heard anything about them. They probably have a better team anyway.
Yeah. Atlanta's. I mean, I know they won last week. Good for them, but I mean, doesn't mean
Ritter has taken a couple of steps too. He's probably been the second best rookie quarterback this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a lot of other rookie quarterbacks that have played.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I'll go Tampa. Even if Brady sits, they have the better team anyway.
Carolina at New Orleans. I'm going to go with New Orleans because again, this is just a game that Andy Dalton's going to win, and Carolina is just bad, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I'll go Saints as well.
Houston at Indy. Come on, picked them last week. I'll pick them again. That's fine.
Listen, baby.
This is a game that Lovie Smith is going to wake up and say, "Listen, boys, we got a game to win."
You're goddamn right he is. Boys, it's the 4th quarter of the season. We're going to get in here. We're going to get us a win. And then
You think he wants to draft Bryce Young? Hell no. He wants Will Anderson. How do you do that? You take the pressure off not having the first pick.
I've even said it would not shock me if Lovie is there again next year, which I don't get how you can pay a second coach, not coaching your team. And he has any sort of say, he's going to ask for Will Anderson. I mean, because especially though, Will, I've started to watch a little bit of film because I usually don't scout defense. It hasn't even really been scouting. It's more of like, this guy may be on our team. Let me see. He looks a little like Julius Peppers.
I mean, listen, people were talking about this quarterback draft class for years. I mean, last year, that's all people would talk about, especially in the dynasty circles, as you know, Frank. It would not shock me if when the draft process really gets going, people have legitimate concerns about Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and maybe they talk themselves out of draft. I mean, Bryce Young, I mean, he's going to an offense that might be worse than the Bears, just in terms of everything overall. I mean, they're very comparable at the very least because, I mean, we don't have Dameon Pierce. Like, we don't have a guy like that.
We don't have Brandon Cooks either.
We do not have Brandon Cooks either. But I mean, Lovie Smith doesn't he doesn't want to build offense. He wants to build that defense.
But with that being said, though, I don't know how much. I think this QB class is going to be different than last QB class just because of how well they played in the last couple of bowl games, and then they're both playing again, right?
There's some established talent. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Bryce Young isn't a good quarterback. I'm not saying CJ Stroud isn't either. But I mean, they were talked about like it was. If you remember the 2012 draft class that came out, where it was Andrew Luck, Robert Griffin III. Brandon Weeden was a fucking first round pick, and he was 45 years old. He was older than fucking Velus Jones. He was a first round pick. But we'll have to see. The Colts are starting Sam Ehlinger, and I thought he was a better option than Nick Foles, but they're kind of just doing whatever I have no clue what's going on in Indianapolis. They're just hoping Jim Harbaugh can come and fix it.
Listen,
fix it
the
for
Texans
them.
are winning that fucking game.
I'm
The Bears are
telling you,
losing. We're getting the number 1 pick. We are getting a fucking haul.
I would greatly appreciate everything Lovie Smith has ever done for us if he helps us get the number 1 pick. I'll say that.
I agree.
Might be his most important contribution to the Chicago Bears ever in his entire tenure.
I mean, he made a Super Bowl. Show some goddamn respect, Jackie.
Where he lost to who? Who did he lose to in that Super Bowl? That's what
My memory fails me. I don't remember.
Arizona at San Francisco. I'm going San Francisco. Brock Purdy, the fucking legend. I love it. He's gonna win a playoff game. He's gonna win a fucking playoff
He just might. Yeah.
Because they're gonna play Green Bay. God damn it. And
they own Green. Jesus Christ.
It's
I'm going Niners as well.
Dallas at Washington. Washington is just. Chico had no clue he was out of the playoffs. He has no idea what's going on. He's starting Wentz, and then he's not starting Wentz. Now he's starting Sam Howell. Dude, come on. Give me Dallas.
Yeah, I'm going Dallas as well. Can the Wentz stuff just stop now? Can this be his last stop where we can fix him and he may be – he's not good.
He's never been the same since that elbow injury that he had in that Super Bowl season.
Well, and then he tore his ACL that year too.
When he was the MVP candidate. And he was playing really well. And then I think there's been Eagles players who've talked about that too, where it's like ever since that injury, it hasn't been the same.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, I mean, there's no way. I can't imagine he gets another shot. As a backup, sure, he'd be a really good backup. You plug in every 1 or 2 games a year, but there's no way. I'm going Cowboys.
Rams at Seattle. I'm going Seattle.
This feels like a game that. Feels like a game that Baker plays well in and they win. I'm going Rams.
I like it. Giants at Philadelphia. I picked Philly. I don't really know why. They haven't been playing all that well lately.
Well, Hurts is back for sure, right?
I don't know. But I'm going to go Philly regardless. I can't in good conscience pick the Giants, even though Danny Dimes, good for him. Good for him playing really well. I'm
really curious to see what his contract looks like.
If they re-sign it or whatever team gets him, maybe.
You don't think they re-sign him?
I don't know. There's some options.
We have to. That's what we're gonna do this offseason is like isolate a team, and it'll be like the Giant with us episode. I don't know. Because there's so many interesting things that can happen this offseason.
There's a ton of quarterbacks that are going to be available. Tom Brady, Derek Carr, obviously, Baker. What do you do with Baker? Teams may be looking to cut certain quarterbacks. And
yeah,
Lamar Jackson. Listen, have the Ravens, looked that much better with Lamar Jackson at times? And again, I know the receivers are not very good. I get
at times, no, but I think the floor is at the very least raised with him. It's hard to tell if his stock has risen as he's gone out, like in terms of money, or if it's, I don't know. They're such a weird team. Yeah. I do want to see him in a different offense. I hope he leaves Baltimore because I don't even know if they're maximizing his potential at this point. I think they were when he wasn't as developed as a passer. I think he's a much better passer than he was day one of his NFL career right now.
I agree. There's a lot of options out there, man. This is going to be a very, very interesting season.
Yeah.
I mean, not for nothing. Sammy Darnold having himself a day. He looked pretty fucking good.
No,
too.
But you know what made me actually think, Jack, with Darnold, with Geno Smith, these guys who have taken a while. I'm really curious to see like how many people are just like flyers now. On your third or fourth team, you're just sort of here, stashed away for a little while. You're forced to play. Hey, maybe we have something. Because the one thing that we've always said is that we do think NFL teams give up too soon, even like start people too soon at the quarterback position, but then also give up on them a little soon as well. When it's like they need development, like that's not an easy position to play at all. So I'm curious to see what the balance is there of guys, because we're seeing guys have success on their second, third team 6-7 years later. Like, well, in Darnold's case, what is it, 5 years later? But like that might become a thing.
I still can't believe Derek Carr got benched.
Dude, I saw the funniest
can't believe
tweet.
that.
I saw the funniest tweet after he had another bad game a couple weeks ago, and they were like, "Now we just gotta." He's gonna go up on that podium and cry and talk about fucking God again. I can't do it. It was a Raiders fan. He's like, I can't do this shit anymore, man.
I mean, dude, Josh McDaniels came in and just.
Nah, but you know what though? We'll take a dive on them as well, and I'll give my take there. Because I just think it was a weird situation to begin with.
They got him his best friend at wide receiver, and now the wide receiver is stuck, and he's like, give me a say at quarterback. I mean, the person that makes the most sense to go there is Tom Brady, right?
Yeah, I mean
But does Tom Brady want to? But does he want to go to a division where it's Justin Herbert and Pat Mahomes?
I don't think he's running away from anybody. And he gets to reunite with the best play caller he's ever been with.
Not running away from anybody. He ran away from Josh Allen. He ran away from Sam Darnold. He ran to the fucking NFC South.
He just beat Sam Darnold to win the division.
He ran away from the GOAT.
Bucko.
Sammy Darnold. He ran away from Tua. He didn't want no smoke from Tua. Come on.
I think I can throw a football further than Tua.
Yeah, fuck Kayvon Thibodeau, by the way.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Fuck him for real. He knew what he was doing. He spotted on the sideline doing the sleeper thing.
That was but that was what really was disgusting to me about it. Because at first with the snow, I was like, oh, I just gave him the benefit of that, like because it didn't look like he looked back. I was like, okay, he just didn't know that Foles was hurt.
Even if you don't hear him writhing in pain, which he clearly was.
Yeah, I mean, we don't get that audio. So, like, to me, all I see is that. I'm like, okay, whatever. But then when I saw that, I'm like, what are we doing here, dude? Because, again, it's like when you think about the situation with Hamlin, like, this is a fraternity, man. Like, these guys, that the Bengals weren't being disrespectful or doing anything. You didn't see any of them warming up on the sideline. They were immediately like, fuck football right now. Obviously, the situations are drastically different, but I'm just saying, like, you have no empathy for another human being that is just trying to make money. Like, this is their jobs. Like,
well, and you know he's lying too, based off of like, because he was saying originally, I didn't see what happened, and like, fine, okay, maybe he didn't, but then you see him doing the sleeper thing on the sidelines right when it happens. People are out here saying, well, no, he was just doing it because of the score. No, come on, stop. Then he says. Jeff Saturday made his comments, and he was like, I thought it was tasteless, disgusting, whatever. And reporters asked him about it, and he said, I don't know who that is. You don't know who Jeff Saturday is? Get the fuck out of here. Yes.
Can we? I hate that. Why is that? You think you sound cool?
Yeah.
That is such a corny. Like when people do that, what, like, shut up, dude. Like, because my thing is, even if you, like, he may not watch football and he may not know who he is, you're still saying that to sound cool.
Yeah.
That's so fucking corny to act like you don't know who people are. Shut up.
And you know who first of all, you know who the other team's head coach is. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And you also know who one of the best centers of all time in the league is.
It's stupid. But the other thing, and this is what I thought you were going to say, though, Jack, Thibodeau went on Twitter and started liking tweets in defense of him. So it's like, no, cut it out. You knew what happened. And if you didn't, you're doubling down like a fucking dickhead just to say, like, instead of saying, oh, my bad, I didn't know and I shouldn't have celebrated.
Why isn't that, like, why didn't he just say that? Because then it goes away. Like, I didn't see it and I apologize. I didn't know what was happening.
Well, and that's the thing. That's why, you know, to some degrees, people can fall for silly reasons, but that came into question. He was supposed to be the number 1 draft pick last year.
Yeah.
Or this past draft. But after interviews and things, they saw he was very immature. That plays a part into it. Things like that play a part into you falling from 1 to 5 and fucking your money up because the scale gets lower and lower as you go. You know, so I hope he can grow, and I hope he does mature and come with, you know, a formal apology. But like, come on, dude, that's gross.
Just the audacity to be like, I don't know who Jeff Saturday is. Like, come on, man.
But it was all wrapped into it. Like, if it was just trash talk, like before a game, like, yeah, Jeff Saturday said he doesn't think you're very good, and he's like, who was that? Okay, that's banter, and like,
sure.
After a serious situation, like you're doing that. I don't know. It's just all of it wrapped into one was just this.
The thing for me was it wasn't like he ran down to the end zone and did the snowflake thing. Like, he did it right next to him. you could see Nick Foles yelling in pain. He was writhing on the ground. You ever been hurt, Frank? You ever be like, you break your fucking arm and you're just quietly like, ow.
Have you ever been punched in the jejunum?
Have you, Frank?
Once or twice. But no, but again though, Jack, if you just say I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I didn't see him. It was the heat of the moment. I didn't hear, but that goes away. Then you get to, just saying I'm sorry is so much. I mean, even like, you remember when people complain about the PEDs in baseball? Well, why did Andy Pettit do nothing? Because he fucking said I was sorry. That was literally, he wasn't like lying or making it. He said, I'm sorry. They told me I could take this and I could heal faster and I wanted to get back on the field. I'm sorry. Cool. You apologize.
Why people hate A-Rod still, because he fucking lied.
But and that's the whole point. Like, dude, like no one would be giving you any heat if you just, even if you meant to do it. It's the point I'm saying. And you just said, you know what? I'm sorry. If you lie, just fucking lie and say you're sorry. It was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I didn't see he was hurt. I didn't know he was hurt. I apologize. I didn't see it. And even I shouldn't have been doing it anyway. But you look like, and there will still be a certain percentage of people, whether it's high or low, that say, you know what? I don't fucking believe you. And that is what it is. But then when you don't do that and you double down and triple down, now you look like an even bigger asshole, and that magnifies everyone who didn't give you the benefit of the doubt in the first place. Because it sounds like you didn't, and I did. When I just saw I was like, oh, he probably didn't see him. But then with the bed and the liking the tweets and who's Jeff said, then it was like, okay, that's ridiculous. But that you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference even between me and you. Like, you immediately were like, no, I don't believe it. And I was like, I give him the benefit of the doubt at first. But you not saying sorry, that throws that all out the window. There is no benefit of the doubt anymore.
And then it makes you dislike him even more because you're like, I gave you the benefit of the
doubt. yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, it was stupid. It was corny. It was immature. It was gross. Like, whatever word you want to use, that's what it was.
There's one thing we need to talk about down the road. We can do this on the off season because there's going to be plenty of time. We need to talk about celebrations as a whole because they're getting out of control. Right? I was all for the fun celebrations to score touchdowns. That's cool. But if I have to see one more fucking person catch a 2-yard pass for a first down and do that shit, I can't do it. I can't do it, Frank. If I have to see the defense fucking bat down a ball on 4th and 16 and sprint to the end zone when the game is still, it's like 2 minutes into the first quarter and celebrate, like, enough is enough.
Come on, right? Jack. Let them have fun.
Dude. Jari Alexander fucking getting pass interference on Justin Jefferson and then gritting in his face not to get a touch. Dude, there are certain rules at Lambeau that just do not apply to the Packers like they do everywhere else. That league, that stadium has its own fucking set of rules that I'll never understand. Oh, the play clock hit 0? It's fine. Give me a couple.
I feel like they get away with that more than anybody in the league.
It is. Packers fans get so mad about it because they know it's true. You wouldn't get upset about it if it wasn't true. That's what I'll say.
But then they always get a bad call to go against them in the playoffs, and it's so satisfying because it's like
the ball doesn't lie.
Yeah.
Hyphen Rasheed Wallace. Love that guy. Chargers at Denver. I'm going Chargers. Come on.
I'm going Chargers as well. Is Russ
good for Denver? Good for Denver. Looking good for a little bit there. Albert O. I'm not going to pronounce his last name, but prices he was going for in Dynasty at the beginning of the season.
Ooh, shit! The prices that Russ were going for going into the year going to Denver.
Yikes. Russ should play.
Yeah. Well, regardless, I'm going Chargers.
And then of course the biggest game of the night, Detroit at Green Bay.
Oh.
Come on, man. I'm going Green Bay. This isn't a game they're going to lose. They're at home. It's Detroit. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's like Tom Brady. You don't bet against Tom. You don't bet against Aaron Rodgers in a game like this. The Detroit Lions looked good, yes, last week because they beat the fucking brakes off the Chicago Bears. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Green Bay is going to get in the playoffs. It's what they do. It's at home. Stop kidding yourselves. Green Bay is going to win.
Everything you said is so true logically. Everything you said makes so much sense. Who bets against one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time?
You're a fool.
Who who says that the Lions, who don't have a playoff win in 346 years, who says they march into Lambeau Field and beat that team? You know who says that, Jackie?
Frank.
I fucking say it. The Detroit Lions are playoff bound. Dan Campbell has built a culture that bites kneecaps, that snaps ankles, okay? That breaks bread right afterwards and says, nails don't come on the side of this bread because those boys are tough. They can play football. I don't have the ability to keep that going. I'm going Lions, baby.
If Aiden Hutchinson bites Aaron Rodgers' knee in the middle of the game,
dude,
he's my favorite coach of all time. I'm disowning the Bears as a franchise and becoming a Lions fan.
I'm not upset with that. But in all seriousness, the Packers have a hard time stopping the run still. And goddamn, dude, DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams look really fucking. I mean, you talk about, they may be the best running back tandem this year.
Jamal Williams likes Pokemon, so
he's amazing.
He's my favorite.
I love him. He's awesome.
A character that needs to be promoted more in the NFL.
Oh, easily. He should be a superstar just with his personality and like how much of a normal human being he is.
Yeah, he's great. He's like, I don't give a fuck what Aaron Rodgers said. I want to go home and play Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then the reporter came at him, as all parents fucking do, Pokemon, and he's like, come on, I ain't standing for that. Enough's enough. That's great.
But I'm glad you brought up Hutchinson because in the scope of what we're talking about, Jackie, I'm not gonna lie to you. It scares me having to play that guy twice a year for the next 10 years. He is fucking good.
JJ Watt reincarnated. And JJ Watt's not even dead yet.
I think he's more TJ. Because JJ was more of like the bull rush interior on a 3-4.
He makes plays happen. Let's just say that.
No, I know. But I mean, regardless, we're talking about two potential Hall of Famers, but
how does Jacksonville miss on that one, dude? That's wild. He's
so, dude. You know who you're honestly who would like. I know we brought them up because they're white, but if we can just be honest here, he reminds me of Julius Peppers. The way he's able to like commit, like he's able to lose containment and make up on Justin Fields. And I know Justin wasn't fully healthy, but god damn, I mean he was doing that in the first meeting too. He started to shut down. Granted, Justin still ran for like 160 yards against him the first time we played, but he's so athletic. It's insane how athletic Hutchinson is.
He didn't have James Houston though across from him the last time they were playing. Apparently,
that's true too.
Just able to bull rush. Braxton Jones.
We'll have a lot of conversations about that offensive line and things moving forward. That's why I didn't really dig into it, but yeah, that's scary to have to go against him twice a year. He's probably already the best. He's probably already the best defensive lineman in the division. No.
My thing, Frank. Yes, I think he is. I think I think it's not even really all that close, if I'm being honest. Until we draft Will Anderson, but the thing about Green Bay is they're a franchise that wins, and until Detroit proves to me that they can, I'm never going to pick them in a situation.
They're going to prove it. They're going to prove it. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going for $130.
Ah, man, Jari's going to gritty all over his grave.
He's underestimating Amon-Ra.
I can't even be mad that he talks shit now because he actually backed it up.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's why people were finding him annoying because their defense was giving up a ton. But if you talk shit and back it up,
he got burned by Equanimeous St. Brown though. Like,
yeah,
that did happen in
a
game this year. So,
I mean, EQ's our best receiver. Cut Jair some fucking slack.
Oh God, that's a sad statement. That's 100% true. But yeah, I'm going Green Bay. You're absolutely insane. That'll do it for this week's edition of the Bear With Us podcast. I'm Jack. He is Frank. I'm going to go lay down for a little bit, and hopefully next week I'll be in more of a mood to absolutely roast the Bears and their entire front office and coaching staff and team. And obviously we'll talk about off-season plans. We'll know exactly, the next time we record the podcast, we will know for a fact if they have the first pick, if they have the second pick, if they have the fourth pick, because that's still a possibility, apparently.
It's not. We're not winning that game.
Hopefully not. But until then, I'll talk to you next week, Frankie.
Later, Jackie. Later, everybody.
Everybody love everybody.